Hey all, it's Paul from Drums and Rums, where the backbeats meets the spirits. And on this episode, I've got a great guest as part of our celebration of Women's History Month. And our third guest of the month is Ciara, drummer, I don't know if I was able to pronounce let alone your first name, Ciara. I pronounced it correctly, as you've told me, but to pronounce your last name. So we'll just go by Ciara. How about that? That works?
I'm happy with that. Big
Okay,
time.
okay. Excellent. So how are you doing today, Ciara?
I'm really good. I'm good. I'm a bit tired. It's been a typical family day for me today.
Oh,
So, early starts with the kiddies and just lots of wholesome Sunday stuff.
that's
But I'm good. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for asking me.
yeah. So no, that's excellent, and hopefully I'm not taking up too much of the family time here on a Sunday. So yeah, so we were just talking a little bit before. We're I think 5 hours apart. I don't know. We were just talking about the time change, right? So we shift between
Mm,
in the East Coast here of the US 5 and 6, and then you are located in the UK, and right now it's we said about almost 7, 8 o'clock at night. Um, so yeah, the UK, right? So we're across the pond, and but yet I think we've been following each other on Instagram, and you've been posting a lot of great stuff and your adventures, and again, thank you for coming on and being part of the Women's History Month, because obviously you're a drummer, as you said there, you're a mom. You've got a lot of projects going on. You're an instructor, drum, and then I'm sure in general, a great inspiration for uh, female drummers, right? In general, too.
that is my hope. If I can help one girl, then life is good. Yeah.
Yeah. So where did it all start? So you'd started playing, I guess are you started off in your teens? Did you see a band, or was it what was that once? What was the spark that got you into drumming?
I heard someone play drums when I was I must have been about 9 or 10, and I just heard it faint in the distance, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, someone's drumming! I really want to drum." And then I remember like a drummer coming into the school, and we could just look at the snare drum, and he brought in some brushes, and I was just fascinated. I just thought, this is amazing. I really would love to play this. I just thought, how exciting. But no, I wasn't allowed. It was the violin because,
What?
who wants to buy their kid a drum kit
I,
at age 10?
so it wasn't that you were told no because you're a girl, though. It was just,
No.
yeah, because it was a loud instrument yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think they just thought, I don't think they thought think I was serious. And I think that it's not an instrument that anyone in the family has ever touched or tried. It's just very foreign. So it was just never a thing. And then when you're at school in the UK anyway, it's like recorder, violin, trumpet, those kind of instruments.
The easy stuff to
So,
carry, right?
right. And violin sounds delightful when you start. So, I was not very good. But it was that early time. I just remember hearing the drums, but I wasn't actually able to take lessons until much later,
Mm.
when I was 16. So by that point, I was chomping at the bit and like ready to put the work in. So it just came really quick and was, love at first bash. I don't know.
Love that. You need to get that on a shirt. Love it first bash. There you go.
Done.
There you go.
Trademark
There you go.
TM.
Hashtag. How old were you at that point there?
When I started drumming, I was 16. Yeah, I turned 16, I think I was like the week later I turned 16 when I had my first drum lesson. I went with my sister, and it was at a guy's house called Mark Smith, who I'm friends with now. Like we started the Drum Education Live podcast together. So it's awesome that we're still in touch and have that kind of friendship. But yeah, I started drum lessons with him, and really quickly I just knew this is what I want to do. I don't, at that point, my interest in school and doing A levels quickly waned, and I was like, oh no, why am I doing this? I want to just drum. But I just had to do that, and then I went off to music college and joined all the bands there was, and was very into like heavy metal at that time. So now, people who can't see, I've got blonde hair, but back in the day I was very much emo, black hair, long black leathered coat, black DMs, all the eye makeup, probably a moody look on my face, and listening to angry music. That was my beginning in drums. And now I don't really play metal now.
Well, I don't. And I want to talk about it is as we're kind of going through the story is I think I did see a picture when I was doing my stalking or researching for the podcast research. Yeah, just and I thought I saw a picture with you dark hair, and I said, wait a minute. I says, oh, you have dark hair. But we'll talk about that particular group here in a little bit. That I found some stuff, but so okay. So you came out of school, and again here in the U.S., this would be coming out of I forget what they call it, primary or secondary, right? When you go off to kind of, it was like college, right after.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's hard to there's no real like equivalent. I feel like it's a bit weird going from UK to American, but yeah, I did my A level, so that I was about 18, 19 when I went to music college. Like I had to do my whole A levels as a backup. Very sensible. But yeah, and then I went to music college and was there in Guildford at the ACM, and that was a really good time. Just headfirst into drumming, met some amazing people, and the teachers there, amazing. And then I did a little jaunt to LA in 2003 and studied at Llama for a few months, and that was just mind-blowing, really, because the drummers are incredible, and it's just so, to me as a Brit, you're like, oh, the American drummers, they're so good. Can I swear on this podcast?
Oh, fuck yeah.
So I was like, fuck's sake, why are they so good? Like, why? And then when I went to LA, it was so clear why. It was just insane. Like the work ethic, sight reading is every day, whereas in the UK, it was like once a week. They had multiple practice rooms, and it was just all set up for you to practice. And unfortunately, where I studied, as amazing as it was and is, there wasn't too many drummers, not enough rooms. So that was a really good time for me. Went to the Baked Potato and saw amazing players like Terry Lynn Carrington. I saw her drumming, and she was pregnant, and I was like, wow, just wow. I'm just like this close to you. Yeah, so it was a really good time, and kind of just cemented that, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. Came back and did a degree, and just did all the drumming stuff. Just kept drumming. That was it.
Right.
Forever.
So that was a degree in music education. So
it was music, some weird title, but like contemporary popular music on the drums, like drumming. Popular music within drumming. So you had to write like, dissertation on somehow to do with drums, and there was like jazz and all these other kind of topics within it. And at the time I was thinking, oh, I don't really want to be writing. I don't want to be writing this dissertation. This is like proper hard work. I want to just be playing.
This is the opposite of the drums.
Why am I doing this? What an idiot. I should just not have done that. But no, it was good, and you make connections, and I don't know. It's all part of it, isn't it?
So how did you, I guess, refrain from you started playing at 16 and it's great that you stayed through and discipline to continue the education and not, take your drums and jump on the next train and go tour the world at, at that, younger age once you finish school. Again, primary, whatever the equivalent of high school here is in the US. So I know the other folks that listen around the world have a different structure, but anyway, I'm the host, so I'm referring it to here in the US. So I guess it's 17 or 18 or whatnot is to say, hey, I'm gonna go play drums and in a band and all that.
I guess I just wanted to, I listen to my parents. I'm that kind of gal. And, well, I say that. A lot of things I didn't. But for this education, I listened to my folks. And they were just like, look, if you can get a degree in music, then that's just going to benefit you because you might change your mind. You might go off and play with loads of bands, but then you might decide, actually, I don't really want to do this. I want to change. If you have a degree, then you can always have an option there to do something else. Go and study whatever you want, and it'll all count towards further education. Right. So yeah, I listened to my parents and stuck it out, and I had some nice friends on that course. So I think that helped, that we're all in it together.
Right.
Yeah, and just feeling like, okay, well, I'm kind of educated in kind of know what I'm talking about a little.
Yeah, there you go. You know what you're talking about. Yes, I do. Look at this, right? Piece of paper.
Look at this piece of paper. Where is it? Is it on my wall? No, it's not. No idea where it is. But yeah, I always say to people, like, I've never got a drumming gig because I've had a degree, ever.
Right.
Never, never, never. It's always who I know, or from an audition, or, just connecting with people. But it's always there. So if I need to study again, then that's great. And maybe it's given me a little foundation for having that discipline to learn and to study right. if I need to.
Yeah. And I would think that most, other guests that have come on and have, graduated from high school and then went on to university and have pursued music degrees or education degrees, a lot of them, it has created the foundation for them to stay in music throughout their life. And that's why I kind of asked that question, whereas, I graduated high school, so I'm 47. So in that time, I think in the 90s when I finished school, a lot of that was I learned a lot about, I guess, and such later is how the perspectives of different music styles, being a musician first and maybe, and some can probably disagree with me on this, and I've said this quite a few times on the podcast, is, a musician first, band second, right? If you become very good individually, you can then have a much longer career. And I'm going back here, listen, we probably a lot of the same bands, you were probably talking about in your way back when, is a lot of those bands, they were just signing left and right. They fit a certain mold and so forth. And then where are they now, genre of musicians and bands and so forth, because they probably weren't as great or to be able to continue playing and staying in music. And I don't know how we ended up this way, but like Blas Elias from Slaughter, other than being in the movie Rockstar with Marky Mark, but he also performs with the Blue Man Group, I believe, in Las Vegas. So again, he's still staying in music and playing drums, but it's a little bit different avenue. But yeah, I back to the education is I think that's great, because it does, right, like you mentioned, it creates the foundation, so it gives you some understanding more than just now. Yeah, some people just have the skills and talents to be able to not do that, but they also but they got to keep driving. That's how they get better and so forth. So.
Yeah.
So after that, you finished school, and then that's when you got your degree, and then that's when you went and saw the world, right?
Pretty much. Yeah. then I don't know, throughout that time period, I was in so many bands anyway. It was silly, you know, original bands. And then I was in do you remember The Cause?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was in a tribute band to them.
Oh, okay.
So I was Caroline Core on drums. So I was doing all sorts. And then, yeah, when the degree was done, I just kind of, I joined lots of bands. I ended up moving to be in a band and like live with the band in a house. That was exciting. And we just did lots of gigs, lots of recording. And just I've kind of always just been in more than one band, as most drummers are, and just keeping busy. Lots of originals bands, but also lots of other things, other tours around Europe and like shows, like not theatre, but kind of musicals.
Okay.
I have done some theatre too. I've done loads of stuff, really. Just it's nice to be asked and nice to be challenged. I like variety. So, yeah, you kind of end up doing a whole load of different stuff.
Right.
Just,
So you mentioned that is different variety there. So that's interesting where, as you said, some of your earlier years listening to metal or certain type of a genre, but and that not all necessarily lends to, as you something you mentioned was like playing odd time signatures, right? So right. So when did that? Because I don't know, these are tough times, Yeah, the joke, but right.
yeah. My mum got me the t-shirt with it on. She was so proud.
I got a drum. I got a, yeah, that's right. She got it right.
I got it right. So pretty quickly after I got into drumming, my teacher was really good because he just lent me loads of this is showing my age now, but he lent me lots of VHS cassette tapes. So I'd put it on, got into all the amazing, like Buddy Rich, Vinnie Colaiuta, but I got into Virgil Donati, and there's this one videotape of him, was it Modern Drummer Festival 97, I'm guessing, I don't know, but I just watched it over and over and I was like, oh my god, I love it. I don't know what the heck he's doing. I don't know, it's like another language, but I'm hypnotized by it. And so soon I was like listening to his stuff. Like he had a band called Planet X and I got into them, and I remember going to college and just saying, oh yeah, can you work this? What time signature is this? To the teacher. And he was like, oh God, why are you listening to this? This is really hard stuff. But early on, I got into it.
So you were stumping your teacher, right?
Little. Yeah, I mean, that tune was like in 15, 16. So, it's not a typical tune you want to learn, is it, when you're a newbie drummer? But because of that influence, I really just got into odd times and just love it's almost like Gavin Harrison talks about this, from Porcupine Tree, having that restriction is freeing. So for me, it was like the challenge of being able to play on an odd time. I wanted to I'm a little bit competitive. This is what my husband and my family are only just finding out now, that I'm really competitive. But I'm competitive with myself. Like, I was like, I want to be able to do this. Like now, I want to be able to play that odd time. What is it? Let's work it out. And so, yeah, that was just like, became a little nerdy obsession, like trying to work it out and transcribing stuff. I'm like counting 1, 2, 3, 4. What is this? But yeah, it's always kind of stayed with me, that odd time stuff. And then, of course, I let it go a little bit because I started working and joining bands, and there's only I used to get my sister to play 7/8 with me and would jam whenever we were in a band together. But then for other bands, they don't really care about that stuff. So I kind of let it go a little bit. And then, I don't know, flash forward to now and social media. And a few years ago, I was like, come on, let's do the stuff you like. Let's do some odd time. Let's make a little quiz and have a bit of fun and reconnect with that part.
It's a yeah, and I guess that's a part of people don't appreciate, obviously, that are obviously not drummers, is there's a lot more than just, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Or, and there's a lot more technicalness to it, or and yeah, that's a great way, is what you just said there was restriction, right? Because there's so much more, but unfortunately, it's not what most people want to listen to, right? It's
Isn't
so
it?
yeah. Well, no, I guess depends. That particular Facebook group. Yeah, it's called Facebook group for drummers who love odd time signature, right? Now, but I think there's again, I think that like you said there, that when you saw Virgil play and that struck you, right, to say, wow, he's doing something different, and that other drummers aren't doing. There obviously that was very impactful, right? The way you just talk about it, that others don't, again, that are non-drummers, don't appreciate that there's a lot more that's going on here, and there's a lot more, and those odd time signatures feel odd. That's, and I know that's not why they call it odd, but it just is. It's such a different. People aren't used to it, right?
Yeah. And you know what else I really like, though? The thing that drew me in, I think, is the way he drums. I felt like there's such nuance in his playing. So the ghost notes, the accents, it feels good. Even though it's a bit quirky and odd and you're like, something is going on here. I feel like, as an example, but of course there's lots of other drummers who play in odd time signatures who are the same, because it feels really good. Like, yeah, I don't know, there's a certain touch they have and technique that is, to me, not about the numbers anymore. It's like not mathematical. Whereas I'm sure there are a lot of drummers out there, or people who are just in it for math. You can hear it. You can hear the counting, or 1, 2, 3, and it's a bit rigid. And that's not what drew me to it. It was the fact that it was so dynamic and expressive, creative, and just so emotive, even tasteful. How can you do all of that within an odd time? Blew my mind. I can't even do that in 4/4. How are you doing that in whatever 13/8, dude? Don't get it. Yeah.
So we'll have. I think we're gonna have to, because I've had a couple of guests that have been on who've talked about odd time signatures. I think we may have to do a separate podcast explaining to the non. This is where the crossing of bringing the rummers in, or the non drummers, into understanding some of these worlds of what all this means. And again, just if you're listening and are not a drummer or understand what odd time, again, most standard rock or most all music, right, is just very 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it, repeated. And of course, there's a lot you can fit in between all that 1, 2, 3, 4. But as Ciara was saying, there's a lot that's going on there in a 13/8 or 15/16. Like, wait a minute, oh, they skipped a beat, or it's like, no, that was intentional, right? There's certain nuances about that. So yeah, so I'm going to jump around here. So since I want to kind of keep segue, there's as I just mentioned, taping a podcast episode explaining this a little bit more detail. So you are the co-host of a podcast. Let me try that again. Podcast. Yeah, there you go. Like I said, now you open up the can of worms with the letting all these cursing and all that. So you co-host two podcasts, though: Drum Education Live and Drummer Mamas.
Yeah.
How do you find the time to do all this?
I don't. I fail quite often, honestly. I'm like, what is that? Flailing around like in a pool, trying to tread water and failing and going, help. Yeah, not very well. I don't do it very well, but I try. So basically, Drum Education Live came first, and that was like a lot of people born at the start of lockdown, because I was supposed to be doing some drum clinics with my former teacher, Mark Smith, and then Felipe. I'm going to say his last name wrong now. Oh God, Felipe, don't listen to this. Felipe Drago. There you go. And so we were going to be like,
we'll fix it in post.
Yes, thank you. So we were supposed to be doing drum clinics, like to each other's students, and just kind of get a nice little community going amongst our students. And we had some dates booked in, and then COVID, so it all got cancelled. And then we thought, let's just like do a Zoom and like share sounds so nerdy. Let's share some drumming tips, because we don't have anything else to do. So we did, and we just kind of showed what we're doing on our practice pad, and then someone suggested that we should get some guests in and just talk about drums and talk about educating, and if anyone, it might help us to be better teachers and just find out a bit more about our peers. So we did that. We started inviting guests on, and it's been amazing. Like, really unexpected having some of these people on. It's been nuts. Like Dennis Chambers was on.
Nice.
Billy Cobham, Don Familaro, Mike Johnston, Dorothea Taylor. It's just been like lovely and really affirming that drummers are just really nice people, as I'm sure are rum drinkers as well. But it's just taught me, like, reach out. If in doubt, just ask anyway, because the worst someone can say is no. Yeah. And before that, I really wouldn't have messaged anyone. I'm quite shy and a bit, overthink things, especially if it's like, so if this has been in like a room, I never would have gone up to any of these drummers and said, hi, do you want to be on my podcast? But because it's like social media, you can just say in a very British way, would you mind, could you, if not to bother you, be on my podcast, but honestly, it's okay if you don't want to. Don't mean any offense. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. So yeah, it's been lovely knowing that a lot of these drummers who I really admire are actually really cool people. And that slowed down just slightly. And I feel like a lot of people are experiencing the same thing. Like, they've started all these things in lockdown, and now things are kind of back to normal. So then there's loads of stuff, and then you're just trying to juggle it all. And that's a bit crazy. But that's okay. It's okay for it to be a bit slow. And then I started Drummer Mummers just on a whim. Like, me and my friend Gemma, we actually went to the same music college together, and we were the only two girls in the class. And thankfully we got on like a house on fire. And I've been friends ever since, and have just seen each other through loads of stuff. And when I got pregnant with my first child, not long after, she said, oh, I'm pregnant too. So it was just a weird synchronicity in what was going on. And that was really nice. And then same with baby number 2, similar timing. And we just had this chat. I don't know what it was. Oh yeah, I do. So I went away to Paris with the Penelopes, and my second child was, I don't know, a few months old. So not to overshare, but I was breastfeeding and she was having a bottle. So for me to leave for a few days was fine, but I have to make sure that she's okay. Like, I have to take care of what's going to happen to my breast milk, things like expressing and all the rest of it. And I just started talking about it a little bit on my Instagram and just posting this thing like, yes, I'm here. It looks amazing, but actually this and this person is helping. My husband's looking after the baby. I'm having to express, it feels a bit weird being away from the baby, but I'm really having a great time. And I don't know, something about the post resonated with a lot of women. And I got a few messages just saying, yes, thank you. Thank you for saying this, because it's not really spoken about.
Right.
Working mums or working parents. To be honest, I was feeling a bit like, well, why do I not hear about drumming dads either? Like, why is there this unspoken,
Yeah.
it's not sexy, I guess. It's not cool to have kids. And
Yeah.
so,
That, yeah, that's that. No, that's, as they talk about, the things that are, I don't want to say taboo, but, things that are not spoken about, and, or we don't talk about those, or at least, and that's great, because that's, I think, at least the one. I know I always feel like I have this love-hate relationship with social media and the internet and in general, right? All the great things it can be, and all the unfortunate things it is. But the World Wide Web for others to share their experiences, or to hear a voice that gives them encouragement, and to, like you just described there, and that to let others know, hey, and that's like a big thing here in the U.S. They talk a lot about is mental health, right? Is nobody's talking about it, and again, until people make it not so a stigma about it, is that, yeah, others go through these things, and again, whether it's the culture of, as you mentioned there, why aren't we talking about drumming dads, and the culture of, certain way, we all have to be a certain way, and that's just on the unfortunate stereotyping of certain things, right? It's like, well, the man does this and the woman does this, or to that, but yeah, I mean, for those that have to leave and travel, um, again, either way, if it's a man or a woman, has a great support structure. Obviously your husband, right, is totally, great, and that's to support you, and yeah, like you said, go off. Now, at any point, did when you were leaving and coming back only for a few short days? I mean, was there any feeling of, was there any guilt, or do you have that leaving, like you said, your children, even though they're obviously in safe care and so forth, but was there any of that separation there that was challenging, tough?
Not so much with my second, because I feel like I felt a bit more experienced and confident as a mum. But with Quinn, my first child, I remember, again, I went away when she was, I don't even know, maybe nearly a year, and I just played this amazing show. Was buzzing, came off stage, rang my husband, and now my husband never really mentions anyone being ill. He like plays it down. But on this
Yes, us,
one
us
phone
dads
call,
want moms to know that, yes, we've got everything under control. We can do these
yes,
things, even though the house might be burning, but we're never going to tell you that.
exactly. So then I was very worried when he said, "Oh yeah, Quinn's got a temperature." And then I was like, "Oh," I just wanted to fly home immediately, because you just feel like, well, I can't do anything. I'm in France. You're in England. There's nothing I can do apart from worry. So in that moment, I definitely felt guilty, but more worry that I just wanted to be there, missing out. But with Indy, yeah, by that time, baby number two, I felt like, no, she's having a great time with dad and with her dad and all the family. She's not even going to know I'm gone, and I just need to make sure I'm present and enjoy what I'm doing. So I feel like it was perhaps a bit more balanced, but it's weird the reaction you get from others. So they'll say, "Oh, so who's looking after the kids?" Like, I've just left them, just left them at home alone. And so that was a little bit, that disappoints me a bit, that side. Because again, it's like the whole wanting to readdress the balance. And, well, what about the guys here? What if they had children? Are
Right.
you asking them who's looking after the kids? Probably
Right.
not, right? And I know it's just because hundreds of years, it's always been the dad is working and the mom is at home, but I guess I'm a little bit impatient there. and would like it to be just a bit more balanced. Yeah.
Yeah. And that annoys my wife a lot when people just ask if she was at work when my kids were younger. Well, who's babysitting? It's like their father, it's like if you're, for look, we're talking about a particular thing. And we're fortunate to have a very good relation. I know others, not everybody always has the same, but again, to have a great
Mm.
support structure, right? And
Yeah.
if there's an equal balance, shared resources, I'm sure I'm could be, feeling like a little bit in confession here, as I know maybe I don't feel like maybe sometimes I don't pull enough, but again, you try to make up when you can to try to keep that balance, obviously, right? And I've been married 20, oh, this is definitely going to have to edit this part out now. Let me do here. Oh, wait, 23 years, yes. So 23 years in June. But how long have you been married?
Well, you're doing something right. We've been married 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, congrats.
7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So
Thanks.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Takes forever.
and very early on, heck, if you guys want to have a perspective and discuss, I mean, I don't tour and go away, but I think an interesting an interesting point there about the 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 dad aspect is because early on when my wife went to work, I got at least got time to spend. I have two boys, and,
Mm.
and I enjoyed that. Yes, I can do these things and do the bath routines and other things, and then have your own separate time from your children, which I think is important too, individual
Mm.
time, and then obviously all family time. So, but
Completely.
yeah,
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough to get that time.
yeah.
For me, for my husband, it is really hard. I think that's one of the hardest things is planning and trying to make sure you've got enough time. It's, I struggle with it most days, you know.
So the touring, as we were just talking now to jump back. So previously, as you mentioned there, you're drumming in the band Penelope's, and I'm going to come back to that. But prior to that, was you were in an all-girl band. Um,
Yeah.
so so let's talk about that.
I've been in quite a few
Okay. So
girl
the
bands.
one well, yeah, you mentioned the chorus, right? And yes, I know they were both in the oh my God, why am I now drawing a blank on the movie? It was a movie. It was Irish. It was a bunch of Irish kids that were in this movie, and they were all singing R&B music. Why am I drawing a blank on this? Oh my
Oh, I don't
God, it was
know.
early '90s.
I have to Google that now.
Shoot, it'll come to me. But yeah, I think the cores were actually the two sisters were in that movie actually. So, but anyway,
Okay.
so the replacements, no, it's something like that. It's going to drive me crazy. So anyway, so the band Helen and the Sirens.
Yeah.
So let's talk
That
about
was
that.
fun.
That looked like a pretty fun band there. So I saw some videos or pictures with two violinists and
Yes. So I just got a little notification that my internet is a bit rubbish. So I'm sorry if
okay.
this cuts out.
I know.
Um, yeah, it was really fun. I can't even think what year I joined the band, but um, it was Helen Greenham. She's a brilliant songwriter, and she just wrote these incredible like emotive songs that reminded me a bit like Kate Bush and Florence and the Machine, maybe. And yeah, it just grew to like six of us, two violinists, bass player, keys, and me. And it was lovely. It was just like a bit of a gang and a lot of fun. Um, yeah, like violin battles and me drumming along. It was really, really good. But yeah, tricky to organize gigs with six of us. But we had a really nice time, and we recorded an EP through Pledge Music. I think it's called Pledge Music, like a funding thing, and recorded this EP6, and that was wonderful. And played lots of gigs and on the radio a little bit. And then I decided to get pregnant, and and at the time, it's funny because at the time I was saying, "Oh no, nothing's going to change," and of course it does, and things just kind of naturally, we all went our separate ways, anyway. And now I'm still in touch with the girls. I don't think we'll ever do any gigs, but we often chat about doing it.
Oh, come on, Ciara. Break the announcement. Breaking news. You're getting back together, getting the band back together here. Give me an exclusive.
Oh, no. We dream about it. I will tell you first.
Okay, excellent.
I will tell you first. But yeah, no, I don't have time. I don't have time for that now. We've got too many other bands. But it was really good fun. And yeah, I don't know. I've always enjoyed being in a band with women, strong women, and just kind of rocking the fuck out and showing that we can just do it as hard and better.
Yeah.
I love just being in a band, full stop, whether it's guys or gals, but it's nothing sweeter than if you are, just setting up sound check and the sound guy's like, "You all right, love? You want help? Do you know what to do with the drums?" People think, "Oh God, who are these girls? Silly girls." And then you're like, boom, and you do an amazing show, and you're like, "Yeah, have that." It's a good feeling.
I listened, again when I was doing my researching, stalking, and I found that you guys. How did you come across and come up with covering the song, the Snap song?
Oh,
yes, I dug. Yeah, I dug in there.
That was really fun. To figure that out and just to jam it. And every gig, that was just such a fun song to play. I think it was Helen. She was like the genius really behind the band, and had really good song choices and really nice like melodies, especially for violin and other melodic parts. So it was her. She's got to take the credit. She just thought, let's do this. It was such a big hit. Let's just see if we can kind of rock it up a little bit and, give it a Helen and the Sirens flavor. So we did, and it worked. It was fun.
I listened, and I saw, I think, a little video clip, and I was like, oh my God, I'm sure people's heads blown, right? When they hear like, oh, that sounds like, and then it ends up turning out to be, and then it's a very pleasant surprise that nobody's, who's never seen you guys before actually heard it, and here it's like, it's I love seeing covers that are totally taken in a different way, and then it's still there, but yet we were like, wait a minute, I know this song. Wait a minute, this sounds familiar, and it drives them crazy because then they know it, but it just isn't. And then of course, obviously, the hook or the chorus comes in, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're like, come on. Yes, and then, thank you very much for Helen and the Sirens. Bye-bye.
Oh my God, that's funny. So now the band, to be honest, I don't know of, and maybe it's more of a Europe familiar band, but so the Penelopes, talk a little bit about that. And from what I understand, and they're very well long established since the 90s, and then that you perform with them now. Just go ahead and you just describe who the Penelopes are, and then how you have become their touring drummer.
So the Penelopes are, I'm not going to say their last names because they're French.
Okay.
And it's hard to say, and I will just mess it up.
So you're not protecting, you're not, protecting their identity.
No.
It's just
no.
Yeah.
They're two cool dudes Axel and Vince, and they've been writing songs a long time, and mostly they write a lot of music for film, and I think they might do some TV as well. So super talented, busy guys, and they also do lots of DJing as well. So they do lots of DJ sets around Europe, mostly in Paris, and they had like a live band set up for a few years. I think it's gone through a few different changes, and I got into contact with them really randomly. So I just had Quinn, and maybe she was, I don't know, 8 months old, and I just saw this like advert for a female drummer, and it was the most random website ever. Like, I never look on this website. It's like, you know, your Craigslist, which is sometimes a bit dodge.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So ours is, I don't even know if it's still going, but ours is Gumtree.
Okay.
And so you get people selling stuff, people just, you know, looking for extras for movies. It's just like very random. Never know what you're going to get. And so I don't know how I ended up on Gumtree or whether the link took me there, but it was like female drummer wanted for a band, audition held this time, get in touch. I was like, yeah, right, okay. For some reason I thought, oh yeah, okay. And I went along to the audition, and they just look so cool because they're both French, right? And they dress amazing, like shades. Axel's got this cool hat. So I was immediately terrified and thinking, oh my God, I'm not cool at all. And I just had to drum to a few songs, and they wanted me to do backing vocals as well. So that I can sing, but I hadn't done it as much drumming at the same time. So I was quite fearful about that. But they were really nice, and the audition went well, and they were like, yeah, do you want to join our band? Along with Quentin, who plays bass. And so now it's a lovely gig. It's a few times of the year. It's not crazy tours because I can't really commit to that. So it's really lovely. Like, the gigs are really nice. They're usually in Paris or somewhere. Like, we played in Luxembourg and wherever. Like, they went to they did a little Spanish thing, and yeah, we've done some really lovely gigs, really looked after, and it's a great time. They're lovely musicians, and yeah, really funny. Like, I was talking about it together the other day because I've been with them like 5 years now.
Oh, wow.
And that's just gone by in a blink, but it really feels to me now like, this is going to sound so cheesy, but like a family, because there's that banter and just the taking the mick. Like, they were taking the mick out of me and my odd time signatures. And that's why I feel like, okay, yeah, this is good. This is really nice. It's at a really nice place. So it's nice to be performing at that place. Like, I'm not worried. I can just be on stage with my friends.
Right.
It's lovely.
That's now, and that obviously you've been in many bands, and everyone who has, when you find that right fit, you know, everyone kind of respects everybody, but then there's also that family aspect of, you know, you can give and take and push, you know, like a brother sister, you know, kind of they said, you know, picking on each other to a healthy dose of
completely.
Yeah,
definitely.
excellent.
They're protective, but then they also go, oh
Yeah,
look at you weirdo with your 7/8, you know, whatever.
now I remember seeing, I think it was maybe something you posted on Instagram, that you were getting ready to go, it was you, I guess you could go into a show or to perform. So you come from the UK, you pack up all your drums, and then you take the train over to France, right? Is that usually?
Well, usually, for all the gigs that we do in Paris, they provide all of the backline.
Okay.
So it's not, on one hand, it's really nice because all I need to bring are my sticks and I've got a mixer. and in-ears and stuff like that. But on the other hand, I'd really like to bring my Nicky Moon cymbals with me, but I can't. So, I'm grateful that I don't have to cart any drums on the train and risk them being damaged. But sometimes I'm like, oh, it's a shame I can't bring my Nicky Moons, but what can you do?
That's I know, playing on other people's kits. It's always, we talk about why wired drums always seem to be the universal open sign. See, somebody sees a drum kit sitting there that they just feel an open invitation to go and hit on it, bang on it, whatever. But yet a guitarist, God forbid anyone even looks at their guitar. But yet the drums are all over. Oh, hey, and occasionally, I don't know if you got the same issue that with people come to your house and they see the drums and they just think that's why there's a sign in the music store that says don't touch the drums, or the
Completely, yeah.
or have you seen the movie Step Brothers with Will Ferrell and John C. Riley?
Oh, I know I haven't, but I've heard about it. I want to see it. It
Okay,
looks
yeah.
Hilarious.
There's a scene in it, obviously the two Step Brothers, and then John C. Riley has this massive drum set in his room. And when Will Ferrell comes, and again, remember, these are adults that are stepbrothers. And when he's showing them the house, and he says, "Don't go in this room. This is my drum." I don't know, whatever he called it. And he said, "Don't touch my drum set." And then, of course, Will Ferrell's character does. I don't want to give away too much, but yeah, you got to see it just for those all these drum references that people have about that particular movie. So,
I will.
But yeah, so you said Nicky Moon there. Okay, so what is that? Yeah, I know you mentioned it in the pre-show questionnaire, but I'm not familiar with Nicky Moon, so maybe others maybe or may not. So enlighten me.
Well, Nick just makes the most incredible cymbals. He just makes them himself. They're completely custom. So I found his cymbals because I saw a picture of this massive, like this crash cymbal with an alien on it, like an alien face, like art on it, like a graphics thing. And I was like, oh my God, what is that? Like, I need that in my life. I like UFOs and all that stuff. And I clicked on it and I was like, okay, Nicky Moon, amazing. And then I saw that symbol belonged to Mike Dawson, off from Modern, what used to be writer of Modern Drummer, and he's got his Drum Candy podcast. And so I was like, oh my God, Mike Dawson has this symbol. I need this symbol. And so I just kind of started following him. This was a couple of years ago. And I just thought, oh my goodness, I love that he's just making these symbols that look beautiful, sound beautiful. And he just has a lovely way of, it's like a proper craft, like art almost. And so I just was following him for a long time, and I was just like, when you on Instagram and you like save, and I was saving all of his symbols into my own little folder called Nicky Moon, just for like thinking, oh, I'm gonna order some of these, because I was getting his newsletter. Often he does like deals. I thought, I'm gonna definitely order some cymbals here, because I was just kept saving them. I loved the sound of just a lot of ride cymbals he was producing and hi-hats, and I just thought, this looks really cool. I really like it. And to be honest, I've always had a real mishmash of cymbals anyway. I never, like, I loved the idea of just having all Sabian or all Zildjian or all Meinl, but the way my life has been, I've never had that opportunity. I've always just kind of grabbed this and that and begged, steal, borrowed, whatever. And then I just kind of was following him and really loving his work. And then we just kind of started chatting a little bit, tiny little bit on Instagram, me just saying, oh, that's really nice, really like this cymbal, and him just following my page and liking what I was playing. And then he just messaged me and just said, look, I really like what you're doing. How do you fancy like working together, like being an artist for my cymbals? And I just thought, what? Yeah, I would love that. And he was just really generous. I mean, I kind of thought, yes, I would love that, but I'm also not in a position to buy a whole load of cymbals. And he was just really kind and just said, well, I'm going to send you some. And he did. He just sent me some. And I loved them. And we had a really great chat on the phone. And he wants to know what sounds I like, what sticks I use, what kind of music I play, like what do I want out of cymbals he will make.
Oh wow.
And then it's just been a really amazing partnership because he just, as I said, he just kind of makes what you ask. So then I said, well, if I'm honest, I'd really like a cymbal with an alien on it. I'd really like a trashy crash with an alien kind of on it. And can we do that? And he's like, yeah, let's throw around some ideas. And him and Woodland Percussion kind of made that for me. And I've got a little stack, and I've got a pair of smaller hi-hats and another crash cymbal, like a Sentinel cymbal. So he's got lines, 1 series, Sentinel, Sage, and a few many others that I'm probably forgetting. But what I like is that he will just really listen to what you want, and it feels really custom and really, I feel heard. Whereas I know some of the cymbals can be, machine made, and you don't have the personal touch, and you're not guaranteed that it's going to sound good.
Well, it's handcrafted, right? And it's not machine. And so it's like you said there, it's a making cymbals, or making anything, but particularly you see how far back the story of Zildjian goes, and or all those, but then to be able to craft something that's, yes, we still make things, and people still make things by hand. It's all not mass produced. That's really cool, and to be able to make it to a certain specification, as you said, or the sound with it. So yeah, big shout out to Nikki Moon there. Hold on, let's see here. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Woo-hoo!
All right. Woo.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's doing really amazing stuff, and it's really nice to see his profile grow as well.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, yeah, he deserves it. He works really hard. Cymbals sound great.
Cool.
Tick.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Hold on. I'll give him. I'm gonna give him the air horn too. No. Oh, sorry. That's the wrong one. Never mind. I'm getting old here. I can't now. I'm not even gonna try, because who knows what button. So all right, no, I'll try to edit that part out there. So so yeah, no, I that sounds interesting, because I'm sure he's got an interesting story, and if and maybe we could talk after the podcast, and you can maybe introduce him to him, because I think that's an interesting story, just about making of the symbols. So yeah, no, so yeah, because I seen on your profile also that you endorse her and so forth. I was curious and learn more about Nikki Moon. So very, very cool. So we'll have to get a picture of that. We'll find a picture of the alien symbol there. So
yeah, I'll send you one.
all right, excellent. So yeah, I think we've hit every mark here. So I guess one thing before going to our little, as we start ramping things down into the segment where so as we were talking about, this is March, is Women's History Month. I mean, what kind of like encouraging things, if there's any, I think we've talked a lot about a lot of great stuff here, kind of been all over the place, personal things, professional things, career, family, but what would you say to, anyone, and again, in particular, since it's Women's History Month, for any women or girls that are out there? Well, I know this kind of, if you're under 18, under 21 here in the U.S., you shouldn't be listening to this podcast, because obviously Ciara is already cursed a couple times. She dropped a couple F-bombs here, but I did say it was okay, so that's on me. And but anyone who's listening about, and just women encouraging and women empowerment to, because it sounds like you've done your fair share, as you said. You got to put up with the sound guys who presume you don't know what you're doing, and right.
Yeah, I think when I was starting to drum, I didn't see any women drummers. I didn't see that many women drummers, firstly. And then I didn't see or hear about any women drummers who had kids. So I didn't really know how would that work for my career. Had no clue. So I guess I would say is to anyone, you can literally do anything you want to. Just go for it. And all you need is just a plan. Just get a plan and write out what you want to do and just commit. And I just think there's a lot of self-doubt amongst women and a lot of overthinking, I think, and I'm probably making massive generalizations here, but I feel like sometimes we do underestimate what we can achieve and our power. And I think you just need to be strong and commit to what you want and just keep doing it. Just don't give up. Just don't quit. And then people will just be annoyed that you're still around. So they'll be like, oh God, she's still here. Okay, she must be serious then. But yeah, just don't let anyone tell you can't do anything, and just don't let self-doubt get in your way. And I think you just need to just seriously think about what makes you happy and just do it 100%.
Excellent. So there we go. Applause for Ciara. Yes. All right. It's great. And in the world of a lot of, like I said, my love-hate relationship with the internet, all in the social media, all the great things it is. And it's like, it's like lifting each other up, helping each other out, and encouragements, and especially over the last, year in the U.S. with a lot of the divisiveness of things in general. So, but that's always it. It's not a political podcast. I'm just stating that, hey, let's all just get along. I know. Sorry.
Yeah. There's negatives everywhere, but there's also positives. Yeah. So just grab onto them, because we need them, especially now.
Yes. And so we build our community around drums and rums, and I say everything in between. So, all right. So, Ciara, are you ready for the rapid fire segment?
I'm a bit scared. Do I need to know a lot about rum?
Well, I don't know. This is the segment is always based on, it can go either way depending on who the guest is, right? Okay. So if it's a rum guest, we call it in 4 sips or less. But this is not, you are not a rum guest. And if anyone's listening to this, have not figured that out by now, that this is actually a drum guest. So this is what you're going to get is in 4 beats or less.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Now, sometimes people ask me what the time signal, what the tempo is, but I tell it, whatever they want to do. All right, so here we go. So in 4 beats or less, who's on your Mount Rushmore of drummers?
Virgil Donati, Buddy Rich, Gavin Harrison, Vinnie Colaiuta. Do I have one more?
So excellent that you asked, because I know there's only 4 present on the mountain, but it's your Mount Rushmore.
Yes. Then Anna Canals is on there too.
Oh yeah. Okay. Excellent. All right. Very good. And thank you for knowing the reference, because I know I've talked to a few guests and I totally forget about. Oh, wait a minute. They're outside. Not in the U.S. They may not get this reference. All right. So in 4 beats or less, which do you prefer, recording or playing live?
Recording.
Okay. Is that your final answer?
No. It's my answer today.
Okay. Yeah, these are tough, aren't they? Right?
Yeah.
All right. In 4 beats or less, other than your own podcast, what's your favorite?
Oh, shit. Drum with Mike and Eddie.
Oh, man. I thought you were going to say mine.
And yours, obviously. You know what I was thinking about?
That's hard.
I was going to give some woo-woo answer, women's thing. Yeah. But I was like, no, I can't do that. I've already scared them off talking about.
So now, sorry, say that again. So was it drum with Eddie?
No, it was Drums and Rums. That's my favorite.
Okay. Oh my God. Oh
Yours,
my God.
Paul.
Terrible. All right. 4 beats or less. R- okay. What rum do you put in your rum punch?
Oh shit.
Whatever.
Whatever is
Laying
given to
around.
me. Yeah,
There you go.
whatever's there.
There you go.
See, it's going in.
So actually, the I've had a guest on early last year, and apparently there was like this rum resurgence in Scotland right now, and that was blew my mind. I was like, making rum in Scotland, you know. So I don't know if you.
Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yes, I think there's this drummer. Do you know AJ Russell?
No, no, not familiar.
You should check him out. He's really good. And he's I don't know if it's rum, but he's I think he's into his rum and like brandy and other stuff. But yeah, I think there was a whole Scottish like delicacy with making some of the booze. Yeah.
Okay.
So I need to investigate.
Okay.
I will, and I will let you know.
Well, you definitely. I can. I'll have to ask Jamie, who was on the podcast last year, and he is one of the part owners of Jacobite Spirits. And but again, I know there's other companies too. But I'll have to ask him and say, hey, I said, where probably can obviously you can get things easier in the UK than because I haven't even get my hands on it. So obviously it's a very difficult thing. Spirits are very difficult to send
Oh yeah.
even in within state to state, even it's here in the US, it's not very easy. So but okay. So yes, your rum punch. Anything that's that's perfect, right? There's a saying here in the rum community, rum is fun.
It is.
Right.
Just reminds me of being on my honeymoon and like rum punch at
I,
it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's
there you
just have
go. There you
some.
go. You got it. So actually, if the that song 5 o'clock somewhere is actually live in the town where they filmed the tiki bar portion of that video.
Oh, that's so cool.
So Alan Jackson and he the tiki bar is right on the water there. So I guess I should have told you. Yeah, I'm here in Florida. That's in part of South Florida. So it's that's actually a little cool right now. But yeah,
Lovely.
you can come visit. Come visit. Yeah, I love it.
I would love to. Please, we
Oh,
need some sun. I need some sun. As you can see, like white and red on my face.
it's always Disney, right? There's always Disney. So and I'm sure my kids will definitely would ask, bring some British candy over to the US here. So
Oh, of
yeah,
course.
no, I'm both I'm first generation. Both my parents are Scottish, so they were born there and then they came over here. So my children have learned their candy
What
fix.
do they like?
So they like crunchy bars.
Oh, yeah, they are good.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
We do actually have them. The irony is, and again, I'm going to sound probably really terrible when I say it this way, but again, you just got to understand how sometimes you don't look at things in a certain perspective outside your
Mm.
own little world or culture or whatever you want to call it. Is we say we say in our supermarket they have international aisle and so forth,
Yeah.
or that I think it was actually like it was actually labeled as ethnic aisle, and the British candy is in the ethnic aisle. And then again, I didn't think, or whatever. It was like, but I guess it is. It isn't everything else, right? I guess that's where you put
Yeah.
all the other food that's not from here in the US. So, but
Yeah,
anyway,
you'd think like spices or something really
yeah,
hard to get, not
yeah,
a crunchy bar
yeah, right.
from the UK.
Sure. So all right, Ciara, I appreciate it. But one final thing that what I want to talk to you about is welcome to the alum. Here is
Look how cool that is.
go. Oh, I knocked something over there. So anyway, so
Oh, that's lush.
yeah, so there it says where the backbeats meets the spirits. I know it's kind
That's
of
so
yeah. So
cool.
welcome to the alum. You are now part of the alum of
Thank you.
other guests such as Dorothea, as you mentioned. Dom was just on, um, and quite a few
Didn't you
other.
have the lovely Sheila Klotz on? Have you had
Yes.
her
Oh,
on? I love her.
Sheila was
Like,
Sheila's
I want her to be my best friend.
I know a lot of people it's funny. I was at a rum event a couple weeks ago in Austin, and people see me on Instagram, and I'm at this rum event, and they're like, "Oh, hey, you're the drum guy." And I'm like, "It's funny I get called the drum guy at a rum event, but yet
Yeah.
it's like." And then someone said, "But I don't see you playing a lot, doing a lot of drum stuff." I go, "Yeah, I know. I'm probably drinking more than I'm actually playing. I know I need to." It's been the pandemic's been a little bit of a challenge, and that's where I started the podcast like just before the lockdown happened here in the US. So I guess I wasn't quite creating the podcast because of the lockdown, but it was definitely a hampering on it. I said, well, more out of all the guests I've had on, I have had more drummers on than I've had drum guests on. So I said, I've actually had more drummers on there. So, but yes, so I appreciate it. So again, you have an open invitation to come visit in Florida. So
Thank you.
a lot of going on. And again, thank you for being part of March's celebration of Women History Month and everything you're doing and juggling all the many things you got going on there as a musician and mom, a wife, and family and so.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been a highlight to come on here, so I'm really pleased. So thank you.
Yes. So make sure you check out Ciara's. Let me let you have the last word there as far as what do people need to check out? What are the here's your shameless plugs. Go do this, go buy this, and all that. So there you go.
Hey, if you want to explore some odd times with me, then check out my Instagram. It's Ciara Drums. Ciara, Ciara. I know it's a weird spelling. But yeah, I just do a lot of odd times and some drummy stuff and just try and keep it positive because we need it.
Yes.
That is all.
Excellent. All right, Ciara, I appreciate you for coming on. Hopefully you get to join the rest of the evening there in the UK. And let's stay in touch. And this episode will be coming up here this coming Tuesday. It'll drop.
Tuesday, cool.
Yes.
All right, brilliant. Can't wait.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Ciara. Have a great night.
Take care. You too.
Bye.
Bye.